Welcome to Goodland, the land where everything is good, because it doesn't get much gooder than hanging out with two best friends. I am your co-host, Norrin Shearer.
And I am your co-host, Michael Bandhauer.
And it is so good to be here in Goodland with you, Michael,
Yeah, it's a good place, a good land.
where everything is good. Um, so Michael and I have been best friends for a very long time, since like preschool.
Yeah, it's been a long time, as long
Yeah,
as I can remember.
yeah, yeah, longer than I can remember. Um, and we grew up going to each other's birthday parties, hanging out after school. Um, I was I was Michael's official chauffeur for a while when I got
True.
my license, my driver's license back in high school. So I was kind of the go-to driver for the group. But Michael and I, basically, if one of us needed to drive somewhere, both of us would go. So we have spent a lot of time together over the years. Um, and it has been great. And so we decided that as best friends, we wanted to, we wanted to have a reason to hang out and talk more, and that's kind of hard to do because we live far away, and visiting people in these times is kind of difficult in our current era. So talking via the internet and then broadcasting our conversations to the internet seemed like the next logical step for us as best friends.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. I can't imagine living like 100 years ago. We wouldn't be able to see each other, or we just live in the same place for our whole lives and never get to explore the world. So
That's true. That's true. I was gonna say back in medieval times, but I think medieval times were way longer than 100 years ago. So sorry to
a little
any
bit
old people
longer.
out there that well, I guess uh, I'm gonna guess that our audience isn't 100 years old. That's just gonna be a guess from me. And of course, if we do have any 100+ listeners, I'm sorry. I did not mean to count you out like that, but I'll
I
do my
think we
best.
can we can say that that's not our target audience. If they are our audience, good for us, good for them.
Right.
Welcome to
Yeah,
Goodland.
welcome to
I'm glad
Goodland.
you're alive.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I'll try to be more inclusive of our 100+ listeners in the future. Um, but so Michael and I know each other very well. And if you're listening, there's a chance that you don't know us very well, or you do, and you just like us. So it's one of the two. You either don't know us or you do. Um, I think that exists as a binary scale. And regardless of where you fall in that binary scale, we're going to help you get to know us better. I have found an article on signupgenius.com that has 100 getting to know you questions. And we won't answer all 100 because some of them are lame, but some of them are fun. And so we're going to get to know each other right here on Goodland episode 1. And you can get to know us along with us. So,
Yeah.
Michael, I'll ask a question, you answer it, and then
Okay.
I'll answer it, and then I'll ask another question since I have the
Sounds good.
list. Unless you want me to send you the list in Discord, we'll just do it how I said. I'll ask a question, you answer it,
Sounds good. You'll ask
I'll
the
answer it,
questions,
I'll ask another one. I'm asking the questions here,
at least today.
at least today, this time. All
All
right.
right. Hit me.
Number
Let's
one,
see.
question number one, Michael. Who is your hero?
Who's my hero? Oh man. It's a good question. I feel so out of, famous celebrities and famous people happening right now. I don't know. I mean, I'd honestly say like my heroes probably are like the people that we get to make in D&D together.
Hmm.
Just because they're people that one, I do get to custom make them, so I get to come up, with all of their strengths as well as their weakness. So that's pretty fun. But just like being able to create people that I can kind of look up to in different aspects. This person has confidence that, I wish I could emulate, and this person is powerful in certain ways, this person's strong. So I'd say just being able to like create people in D&D just kind of is like me pre-generating like a lot of my heroes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's awesome. And that's one of the reasons that I think you and I both love that game so much, is that it's really personal. Like the characters that you make, or as a DM, the stories that you write, you can use those to put a bunch of your ideas out of your head and into a space where you can play in them kind of freely and explore them. Um, One of my favorite things about Dungeons and Dragons, there was an article. Critical Role is a really famous Dungeons and Dragons streaming show, and there's a one of the players on there, one of the cast members, Liam. He was talking a while ago about when his mother passed away. He was actually kind of using the game to help him process those feelings and work through the grief of that. And he said that without the game, he doesn't think that he would have been able to handle it as healthily as he did. It really gave him a place to work through those feelings and explore them in a space where they weren't directly connected to him because they were through this character he was playing. So it gave him some distance to view the feelings from the outside. And I just thought that was really cool. Like I can't think of a lot of other games, other activities that let you process your feelings in that way. So
True. Yeah, it becomes just like so personal, because I mean, in a video game, you kind of live as that character, all other games, but like in D&D, like you're the one who has to create that character. You either take an idea from somewhere, and add your own stuff, or you just create it 100% from within who you are. So it's just becomes incredibly personal,
yeah.
um, in ways that a lot of other games or media you just can't do as easily.
hmm Yeah, exactly. Um,
So what about you, Norn? Who's your hero?
my hero, I think this is a tough question, isn't it? I think my hero
Yeah,
is Leonardo the Ninja Turtle. And
that's a
I
good
think
answer.
I think Leonardo the Ninja Turtle, number one, blue is my favorite color, and he has a blue mask. Number two, he's got two swords, and two swords are better than one sword. Number three, he's the leader. And I think that is a burden that is placed on him. And he, a lot of the stories about him are about him learning to deal with that burden and how to be a better leader and put what he wants aside, but also learning that sometimes it is okay to do what you want. So I just think he has a really cool, a really good struggle that's really good to try and emulate. And the way that he cares about the greater good and about his brothers. Yeah, Leonardo the Ninja Turtle is my hero, and he is certified good by Goodland.
I would say that Leonardo is certified as good.
Certified good.
He, both thumbs up.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, Goodland listeners. If you're good, the highest honor that anything in the world can get is a certified good from Goodland. So we don't hand those out, to just anyone. Those are a
No.
sparing award that we give out. Okay, Michael, name a number between 1 and 100. Let's do it that way. Let's do a random question.
Okay. Yeah, let's go with a 62.
62. What kitchen appliance do you use every day?
Oh, dang. This is a good one. I like cook everything from scratch. So this is awesome. I mean, I use the stove every single day. I don't know if you'd count that as a kitchen appliance. I use a food processor all the time.
Mm,
That comes in handy. Make, smoothies, salsa, you know, anything that you want. But stove I use every single day. So
right on. Yeah, I've been trying to learn how to cook. This has been an endeavor for me since I think the beginning of the first quarantine back in March of 2020 when everything kind of went. Um, since then, I have been um, trying to teach myself how to cook. I found Um, I've been watching Good Mythical Morning for a couple years now with Rhett and Link, and they have a kind of a spin-off channel called Mythical Kitchen where their head chef for their company does cooking videos, and he kind of walks you through the crazy stuff that they make for Good Mythical Morning and stuff like that. And so watching him kind of inspired me to teach myself how to cook. And so in June of last year, when I moved out into a place of my own, um, and I didn't have parents to make food for me anymore, that's when it really kind of kicked off, me trying to teach myself how to cook. And so it has been a journey, an adventure. In fact, today I'm in the process of making pretzels and schnitzel with my father. Um, so
Oh,
I made pretzel dough just now. I'm waiting for it to rise as we record this. It has a rising time of an hour. So while that dough rising is a pretty strict timetable for this episode of Goodland, because I got pretzels that need some attention. Um, but yeah, I've been teaching myself how to cook. I still don't say that I don't cook every day because now I'm living at home, and so I don't have to because
that's good.
my
That's a good
parents do
thing.
it a lot. But
Sometimes.
I think an appliance that I use every day would be a tea kettle. I don't know if the
Ooh,
kettle itself is an appliance or if you would count the stove that I use to heat it as an appliance. But I make a lot of tea. And
that's
so
good.
that,
We have the one where you just kind of push a button on it and it heats itself up, and that is so nice.
yeah, I used one of those in my dorm room. Um, we weren't supposed to have like hot pads or anything with an open heating source in the dorm. Um, and so I had one of those where I would just flip a switch and it would like electrify the water. And well, I don't think that's how it works, but it would
Not quite. Don't test it with your finger.
a
Don't
thousand
test the
watts
water.
directly to the tea kettle. But yeah, so I used one of those in the dorm. I also used to have I had a toaster in my dorm room, which was illegal contraband. You were not supposed to have a toaster because it has exposed heating coils. But I had one. It was shaped like Darth Vader's head, and when you put the
Nice.
toast in, it would burn the Star Wars logo into the toast. I had to throw it away because so I had a bunch of frozen Eggo waffles in my freezer, and one morning before class, I took them out of the freezer, put them in the Darth Vader's brain, and I turned them on. And the ice that had accumulated on the waffles while they were in the freezer melted from the heat. And so the waffles got really soggy. And so the waffles themselves sort of melted into a
Oh,
waffle sludge that accumulated in the bottom of the toaster. And I didn't really realize that. I was just like, oh, dang it, I lost the waffles. And so the next day, I tried to make waffles again, and the waffle sludge in the bottom of the toaster caught on fire and set off the fire alarm in my dorm room. So I had
oh
to throw the
boy.
toaster away because it was contraband and the smoke alarm was going off. So I didn't want them to be like, you have a toaster, you started the fire. So I got rid of it pretty quickly.
That's good. You didn't get caught then, huh?
No, no.
Good.
There yeah, I was a rebel in college. Well, sort of.
Sort of with your
With a
Darth Vader
toaster. Yeah,
contraband
A
toaster.
Darth Vader toaster and a couple scented candles that I also was not supposed to have.
If you're trying to get to know Norrin, that sentence right there, that's Norrin pretty good.
Yeah,
You know,
we may as well end the episode. That's all you need to know.
I will say you got my wife and I a waffle iron as a wedding gift, and that waffle iron is probably the most used appliance. As
What can I
far as,
say?
not including the stove, we use that like every single week. So thank you, Norrin.
You know what though? And that waffle iron, think about all the times that we made waffles together in high school. Like I think every school dance that we went to, making waffles in the morning for breakfast was our day date. Like
Yeah, that was the
homecoming and
tradition.
prom, we got together at like 7 a.m. to make waffles.
It was always the tradition. The guys, we would always make breakfast and then we would just hang out all day. Sometimes we watch movies and stuff, but we just kind of turned it into like an all day thing
Yeah.
and had a jam.
Some people went like ice skating and or like took pictures in a park, but we made waffles and bacon and we made breakfast. So
Yeah,
who is the real
we made
winner
some
here?
good food.
Yeah. All right,
It's
Michael, you ready
us.
for another question?
Yeah, hit me.
Okay. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
Oh, okay. 26.
Okay.
I'll reverse that.
26. Have you ever had a nickname? And what is it?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I went by like Gideon for some time. That was like my middle name. That is my middle name. It wasn't, it was, still is. So I went by Gideon for a while. Some people still do. Jacob Thomason calls me Gideon to this day. Um, I don't know, Norrin. What other nicknames did I have in high school? I'm sure I had some.
I I don't know. I don't think we gave a lot of nicknames, but I
Yeah, we
don't think
did.
we had many. I don't think that I have
No,
ever had a nickname,
no, I don't think so.
but I have a weird name to begin with, so
You
it's
do. I mean, it is
people.
kind of a nickname.
Yeah, people are already kind of like that's enough for me. I have to remember that weird thing, so that's enough. We did give out a few nicknames though.
We did. We loved to give out nicknames to people, and they oftentimes stuck. You
The
know, they'd
one
stick
that
with people.
yeah, the example of one that has stuck that sticks in my brain is Compass,
Yeah, Compass was legendary.
especially
We
because
made him.
especially because we were wrong with the nickname. So we were in middle school, and there was a new kid who was on our track team who did not attend our school. He attended a charter school, and our middle school was right next to a like a private school that was named Compass, and so we were wrongly informed by a coach or some other student that he was
Probably
from,
was us.
well, yeah, maybe we wrongly informed everyone else, but we assumed he attended Compass Charter, and so we named him Compass. And whenever I was a line leader in our warm-up line for stretches in middle school track, I know, kind of a big deal. Um, but as line leader, Compass was placed in my line. No one knew his name, so I started calling him Compass. So everyone else did, including the coaches. And it got to the point where at one of our final track meets, like the district track meet, he did really good in the triple jump or something. And over the announcements, they said in first place for the triple jump is Compass, his last name. I don't want to out him on our wildly popular internet show,
Don't
but
want to expose him.
yeah, but they said Compass. They didn't even say his last name. They said Compass. And then we found out that the school he actually went to was called Ambrose. He was not from Compass at all, and so his nickname was a lie. But it didn't
He
change.
never corrected us, and it stuck. Because what he ended up doing track with us through high school too,
Yeah,
and it
and it
still
was always
stuck.
Compass. Yeah, even people that went to his actual school, I believe. I'm gonna claim that. I don't know if it's true, and don't look it up because it doesn't matter. It was a nickname from high school, so don't fact check me on it. People that went to his school called him Compass too. So it's just it's my
Yeah,
truth. But I don't think I've ever had a nickname. And other than when you went by your middle name for a little while, I don't recall any as well. So
yeah, I
maybe
know.
that's our task, listeners, your homework to come up with cool
Come
nicknames
up with
for
the
us.
nickname. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, Michael, give me another number.
Let's go with 38.
Aside from necessities, what is one thing that you could not go a single day without?
That's a good question. It's nice to have a phone with everything that includes. So I mean, I definitely say like a computer or a phone. But I mean, that kind of encompasses a lot because from that I could like watch movies and listen to music and even read a book. So I'd probably say like something I couldn't go a day without. I would probably say music,
Hmm.
just to like narrow it down to like one thing specifically. Just because I mean, Norrin and I grew up listening to music. That was something that we like bonded over all the time, was in the early days just listening to like Green Day and all our other bands. We just love
We
music.
recorded a song together using the voice recorder app on my iPod Touch. Do you remember that? I wrote lyrics to
Yeah.
a
Oh my
song
gosh.
and we played guitar in my bedroom together. So unreleased cut of that is, well, I don't know. Maybe it's in my iCloud, but I don't know. But yeah, it's true. Yeah, music, that's a good one. We definitely spent a lot of time in music together, especially because we did. like choir and stuff through high school too. Like that was always
Yeah.
a big part of what we did together was tied to music. Yeah.
Yeah. And I forget that like choir actually was music. I always just look back at it and think of all the fun we had
Oh
and
yeah, all the stuff we were doing
all
when
the
we
things that we
weren't.
did
Yeah, that
to
we
mess
weren't supposed to
around.
be doing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I had to pick one thing that I could not go a single day without, something that isn't a necessity.
I think it was more common that we were doing things we shouldn't have. So
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. We definitely, and that's where some of our best memories came from, is the stuff that we weren't supposed to be doing.
best
Um,
of times.
yeah. Yeah. If I think if I had to choose something that I could not go a day without, I would like to say something like books, because I'm a creative writing major. Um, but I don't think that's true. I think I could go many days without a book. Um, I think the one thing that I would not want to go a single day without would be like pants. Like if I'm just saying they may not be the most like profound thing to choose, but I'm just saying if you woke up one day and all of the pants and shorts that you own disappeared, you had no leg coverings and you had to go a whole day in underwear, that would suck. Like I
That
had a
would.
meeting today. I had to go to work, but now I don't have pants. So I
I don't
think
know.
I think that is something that I would
Especially if
choose.
other people did have pants
Yeah.
and you were the only one who didn't. You know, everyone's like, Norrin, where are your pants? And what would you tell them? I'm not allowed.
I don't know.
I
I
can't.
said on a podcast one time that I would want to keep my pants, and the next day they were all gone. So I really don't know what happened, but I have a feeling I did it to myself.
That's a good one. I mean, here I am with no necessities. So, I mean, are clothes necessities? Did I just say that I'd be okay being butt naked as long as I had music? I guess so.
Think about it, Michael. That's a bold claim, but you heard it
That
here
is.
first. Music is better than clothes.
Depends on the music, I guess.
Music is like clothes for your ears.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I mean, everyone has their different styles, fits
Yeah,
differently for each of them.
yeah.
There you
There's a
go.
type of music for everybody. There's a type of screen printed T-shirt for everybody.
All
So
right. That seems fair.
yeah, bold. I think we've cracked the code. All right, give me another number.
Uh, let's go with let's go with 75. I hope you're keeping track of these numbers, Norrin.
I am in the sense that if I find a question, if you say a number you've said before, I'll see the question and be like, oh, we already answered that one. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I'm keeping track of them, which is to say I'm not keeping track of them.
Sounds good.
Okay, number 75. Do you collect anything?
Oh, do I collect? I collect a few things. I mean, let's see. I collected rocks years ago when I was a kid. That was probably like my first collection was collecting rocks. Um, I love just picking up cool rocks. I didn't know what I was gonna do with them. I didn't do anything with them, but they were cool.
You didn't need to do anything
Um,
with them. Those were simpler
yeah,
times.
exactly. A rock collection. I had a stick collection. Me and my brother and even Norrin and I, we used to like sword fight with these sticks we'd just find. But now I collect dice like for D and
Mm,
D,
yeah,
so I've got a nice little dice
dice
collection. I'm sure
goblin. Yeah.
Norrin has a bigger collection than myself. Um, Besides that, I collect feathers. I like
Hmm.
collecting feathers on the ground, just like different like hawks and stuff, which I think is technically illegal. I think you're not supposed to collect bird feathers, so please don't rat me out, anyone.
For a large period of my life, I was very afraid of bird feathers because I was a kid and I think it was Saturday Night Live. They had like a fake PSA sketch that was like this animated PSA warning against bird flu. And I'm pretty sure it was Saturday Night Live. It may not have been, but I watched it on the television with my family, and I was apparently too young for it. because it just grossed me out because these people, they would like touch a bird and then like throw up and like die. And so for a large period of my childhood, I was very afraid of feathers on the ground because I was like, if I touch that, I'm gonna instantly get bird flu.
Oh yeah. I remember being told like as a kid that like birds were like filthy and that I shouldn't touch the feathers, but I mean I lived on a reservation for a while and it was just like a thing to collect feathers. So now I every time, especially since I like live out kind of in the middle of nowhere, like we have hawks fly around all the time. So if I ever find like a big hawk feather, it's like, oh cool, another one for my collection. What am I gonna do with it? Who knows? But I have feathers.
You have them for when the need arises.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
the apocalypse comes and our need for currency, our current monetary system disappears, and all currency is replaced with bird feathers, you will be
That's
you'll be the king.
I'll be the king. I think, what is it? Daedalus in the labyrinth,
Mm-hmm.
in that old legend, where would he be without bird feathers?
That's true. That's
He
true.
couldn't fly away. He needed those feathers.
Good point. Good point. You
I'm
could
just
build wings.
preparing. I'm just preparing for the day I need to build some wings.
That's great. Well,
But
shoot, I don't think my collections are as cool as bird feathers. I collect like comic books and Magic the Gathering cards.
true.
So I
That's
don't
fun.
think, yeah, but it's way more expensive than collecting feathers too. Like your feather
True.
collection does not provide. And okay, here's a question. Is it collecting if you pay for it? Okay, well,
Oh,
yes, that's dumb. Yes, there are people who make their entire lives out of collecting, the people who do like action figures and stuff like that. So no, that
true.
was dumb. But
What's your like most valued collection then out of your comics and such? If you had to get rid of all but one, what would it be?
mm, so personal value. The collection that I value most personally would probably be my Magic cards, just because they they are a way for me to, like, my dad and I play Magic all the time, and so it's a good way for us to hang out and bond. And then I had, when I was when I was in the dorms in where I went to school, there were a couple guys that I met that I formed like a group with that we played every week. So just a lot of the really good memories, and then even from high school when you and I used to play, um, I just have
Yeah,
a lot of really good memories associated with Magic cards. And the comic books are cool, but like if I really wanted to, there are pirating sites online where I could read them. Um,
true.
but
Magic cards have the connection though.
yeah, yeah. But if I had to, like, if I was getting rid of a collection to make money, it would be the Magic cards because they are all together with everything that I have. I could make a decent chunk of change, I think. And the comic books that I have are just not near worth as much. Because I started collecting comic books in high school. So it's like 2015, 2016 comics, and then I just recently got back into it again. So like they're not worth anything more than the $4 I spent on them initially. So
Hey,
so
they're worth more than my feathers, so
that's true. But yeah, if I had to get rid of a collection to make money, it would be the Magic cards. But I would not like to because that would make me sad.
yeah. Collections are nice. They kind of bring that comfort, this is mine. This
Yeah.
is what I've done, what I've accomplished, what I've collected. So collections are good.
When I was in elementary school, um, I wanted to collect things, but I couldn't decide what I wanted to collect. So I had a shoebox under my bed that it was just a collection of cool things. So it was just like if I found a rock that I liked, I would put it in there. If I found uh, if I was at Roaring Springs Water Park, for example, and I found a Lego minifigure floating in the lazy river, that I liked, I would take that, and that would make it in the collection of random things. So it was
Okay.
um, just whatever I found that I liked. I also collected maps for a while. like maps that you would get at a zoo or at an amusement park. I collected the maps from all of those.
Oh,
So
that sounds fun.
yeah, so I had
It's
a
just
lot of
kind of
those.
like a memory box, but instead of like, here's something from, my graduation or something, it's a minifigure found in the
Yeah,
lazy
yeah.
river.
Instead of something that has any actual emotional value. All right,
You need
Michael,
to
pick it.
like bring, oh, you're good.
I was just going to tell you to pick another number, but if you have more to say on collections, please do.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, I remember when we collected BBs, little multicolored BBs from like the guns
Mm.
when we were in elementary
And
school. I
they,
think that was
yes,
probably the earliest collection.
I remember a
Yeah.
story. Maybe you can validate this for me,
Mhm.
but you ran like an organization akin to the mafia in a way, and you would reward children with BBs, correct? It was like a BB trading post. Is that
Yeah,
true?
I ran this underground BB group, and
Yeah.
it pretty much was just people would find BB. I don't know how I ended up in charge of this little ring, but somehow I ended up in charge, and people would bring to me BBs. So I think like what the most common ones were like green was probably the most common, but then sometimes you'd find like a blue one or an orange one. So everyone would just try and collect them. And for whatever reason, because they were cool and it's all we had to do at those lunch breaks. So that was fun times.
Yeah. When you became the BB boss,
BB
Spider-Man's
Boss. I like
most
that. There
dangerous
we go.
villain.
That can be my nickname, the BB Boss.
Yeah. Yeah. BB Boss Bandtower.
Perfect.
All right. Give me another number.
Uh, yeah, next number. Let's go with 95. Let's step
95.
it up.
How many languages do you speak?
Um, just the one. Just this one really good. I like served a mission in New Mexico and Texas, so I learned Spanish. I can understand Spanish. I can't speak it too well, but if someone talks to me in Spanish, I can understand what's happening. And then Navajo, I know like a little bit of Navajo as well, similar to Spanish. I can understand it well. I can't speak it too well. It's been way too long since I've practiced.
Yeah,
So that's more than the average person, maybe,
that's
at
true.
least in America. Outside of
True.
the United States, people are much more proactive
Yes.
learning languages. But here, to say I know almost three languages is okay.
Yeah, that's true. That is pretty impressive.
But Norrin, on the other hand, he studied French, right?
I did, yes. I took 4 years of French in high school.
Was
Or I
it
took
every year?
I took 3 or 4 years. I don't remember if I did it senior year or not. No, I don't. I didn't do it senior year because senior year my mom became the French teacher at our high school. So
Oh, that's right.
so I didn't take it senior year, but I took
It was
three.
always so weird seeing your mom as a teacher.
Yeah. But yeah, I took 3 years of French in high school. Um, I sort of I remember bits and pieces of it. And it's not like I was anywhere near fluent in high school either, but I did go to France on a school trip because my mom is a French teacher, and she would lead these expeditions where the other French teachers from the district and their students would get to go to France and experience the culture. So that was cool. I spent like 2 weeks in France. We kind of went all around. We started in Paris and then just kind of traveled. Um, and I will never forget the moment we arrived in Paris and we went from the airport to our hotel so that we could put our stuff down. Um, and I was very excited to be in a new country and a new continent. Um, and I was walking with my roommates to our hotel room, and we walked in, and there was a janitor, like a cleaning lady, at the end of the hallway. And as we walked by, I said, we locked eye contact. So I said, "Oh, bonjour," um, and they just kind of didn't say anything. And I was like, "Oh, that's a bummer." So I was opening up my room, and the two cleaning ladies, they just started laughing hysterically as I think they thought I had disappeared into my room. They started laughing hysterically, and they were like, "Bonjour," like making fun of my accent. So I will never forget that. Um, and I did not speak French very much while I was in France after that, because that was day one. I had been in France for like a total of like an hour and a half, and I had already gotten laughed at
It
for it
just
for
wrecked your
attempting.
dreams
Yeah,
of
so I
speaking.
yeah, so I was like, screw you, Duolingo bird. You no threats from you, little green owl.
No
Or
more.
yeah, your threats cannot convince me that it's worth it after getting made fun of so cruelly in the hallway in my hotel room in Paris.
That makes sense. Did we ever try and make our own language? I can't remember. We tried making our own code or anything like that. That
I think
seems like something a lot of kids do, but
I I imagine we did in. I'm flashing back to middle school, um, but that may have been me and Eric. It may not have been me and you,
I could be,
because you
good
took
old
a leave
Eric.
of absence from Meridian Middle School until
True, yeah,
eighth grade.
I came back.
Yeah, your
That makes
brief
sense.
stint as a charter school child, your
Did
brief.
not last. It was fun. Had some good times, but man, public school, you just can't beat
You
public
can't
school.
beat the utter chaos that is the hallway of a public middle school.
Seriously, oh my goodness.
All
Good
right, Michael,
times.
pick a number.
Um, let's go with 48.
48. How many pillows do you sleep with?
Um, I sleep with just one. Um, we have like four on the bed, two for each of us. One of them's like nice, fluffy, and soft, and the other one's like one of those like fancy bamboo foam ones.
Mm,
And usually I'll just kind of like push one against the wall and sleep on the one. I can't sleep on two pillows. Um, but I just like the one. It's nice and comfy. It's nice and reliable. um,
all reliable.
yeah, the old reliable pillow. You can't go wrong with a good pillow.
Yeah,
And you can go very wrong with a not so good pillow.
that is
So,
true. That is true. No, I'm exactly the same way. I use one, um, and I am fine with it. I like the one that I have, um, and I don't need any more than that. So,
do you
yeah,
have just one on your bed or
yes,
nice and
just
simple?
just a single pillow on my bed. It has a Star Wars pillowcase.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so
I don't know if I could get away with
matching it up, man. That's
that.
one of the privileges that I allow myself is a Star Wars pillowcase.
And a Star Wars toaster too.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
That unfortunately had to disappear. I could not get the waffle gunk out of the bottom of it. It was unsalvageable. It was just
Oh,
at that point it was an explosive, and I just did not feel comfortable with it anymore. So Darth Vader is long gone.
at least you have the pillow.
At least I have the pillow. All right, that
How
was an
many
easy one. Pick
pillows is too much?
how many pillows is too much for me.
Yeah, for
I would
you.
say two.
Two.
No, it depends. Like if I'm in a hotel room, I like to have a few more. Um,
Mhm.
hotel in a hotel room, I like to have the pillow that I bring, and then I like to have a couple others to kind of put around myself, just as a barrier. Because in a hotel room, sure, it feels like you're the only one that can access your room, but when you leave, people come in to clean it. The hotel staff can get in there anytime they want, so you are not ever the only person who can get into your hotel room. And
True.
so, in that instance, a pillow fort to protect yourself is essential.
There we go. Yeah. Did you use a pillow fort in France? I mean, the cleaning ladies were making fun of you and they did have access. So is that your first use of the pillow fort?
Yeah, yeah. I actually boarded up the door with pillows. I put a chair up underneath the door handle and stacked it high with pillows, um, and just to make sure that they wouldn't laugh at me. Uh, I'd wake up in the morning with two Parisian women standing over my bed, just pointing and laughing.
There we go.
And that was a risk I just couldn't take. So
All right, everyone. Remember, make a pillow fort, pillow circle around you, if you will, whenever you're in a hotel room.
yeah, it's like a
No.
sea bear circle, or like how they say if you like put a circle of salt, then like boggarts can't get you. I think that was from the
Oh
Spiderwick
yeah.
Chronicles. That may not be common knowledge. Only if you've read the Spiderwick Chronicles would that be common knowledge. But the pillow circle in a hotel room is the same way. Hotel staff cannot touch you if you are surrounded by a circle of pillows. So, safety tip.
All right. There we go. Safety tip. Good. All right. Yeah, that was an easy question. Norrin, you pick a number this time.
I pick a number. Okay, well I can see the question, so I'm gonna turn my phone away from me.
There we
Um, and I'm gonna pick. Well, I feel
Pick a good question.
Michael, I feel like we are obligated to at least explore what number 69 is.
I think that's a good obligation.
I think there's a legal holding over us that we have to at least read the question. Question number 69. How old were you when you learned that Santa wasn't real? How did you find out? This is a good question.
This is why
How
we have this.
how old were you
Um,
when you realized Santa wasn't real? And how did you find out?
Man, that's a good question. Man, I want to say I was probably like around 10. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there listening to this who are like, man, I learned when I was like 5 years old. What the heck took you so long?
Yeah.
Um, but I think I was probably around 10. But it was kind of one of those like slow realizations where I was like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This sounds like my parents could do this pretty easily. So I kind of like pieced it together in my mind. Maybe the year before I had my theories, but when I was like 10, I was like, okay, I'm going to confront the parents about this one.
Putting it to the test this year.
Yeah. So then I like asked my mom, like, hey, like, do you bring the presents? Like, is Santa a thing? And she kind of let me down easy. She's like, yeah, no. Yeah, it's us. I still had like younger siblings, so I still got to like play along with it. But for me, it was probably around 10 years old. So I don't know what the average is. What do you think the average is for people finding out?
I don't know. I mean, if like movies and TVs or anything to go by, like how old were all the kids in Polar Express? Because all the
That's a
Polar
good
Express
question.
kids still, like, they were firm believers at that
Yeah,
point
they
in their
still
life,
believed.
and they looked to be at least 10, right? What grade are you
Yeah.
in at 10?
Um, 10th grade? Is that how that goes? No.
Yes, that sounds
fifth
right.
fifth grade.
That sounds right. Um,
I think it's fifth grade, isn't it?
probably about there. Yeah, I'm not gonna count
Fifth,
to find out,
fifth
but
grade, sixth grade, something like that.
yeah, but yeah. So I think they were all about there. Maybe they were a little younger. Maybe they were closer to 8 or 9. But yeah, I don't know. Around Polar Express age, I would say. I think that's the reason they made Polar Express, right? So that kids who were on the cusp of falling out of Santa, they would be like, oh, well, if those kids, they met him. So
True, yeah.
maybe,
That
yeah,
makes sense.
I'm gonna go with the firm Polar Express age is the average.
Yeah, well, we have two of us here. So how old were you?
I
How did
I
that
don't
go?
I don't remember exactly because I also unfortunately don't have a big story of like a moment. Um, but I do remember, um, they say that you can ask Santa for whatever you want, right? So every year I asked Santa for a jetpack
That's
because
right. I remember you telling me this.
I badly wanted to fly, and so I would ask Santa for a jetpack every year. And after a while, once it started, I was like, Santa, a Lego set again? There's just not. This is not on par with the level of technology that I was expecting from a.
This is good, but we can do better.
Yeah, like for a man whose estate can make any toy in the world, right? Also, like, if you're making me a Lego set, why is it just the expensive one from Walmart, right? Like, why isn't it, like this is the North Pole in Lego form, right? Like they weren't like custom. It's just like I could get this myself if I had a grown up paycheck. and not a $15 a month allowance. So I think it was a slow realization. I put the clues together, and I don't think I ever even said anything to my parents, at least not that I can remember. I don't remember ever having a conversation about Santa not being real. So he might be, because no one has told me for sure otherwise. Um, I'm still a little bit on the fence. No one has completely confirmed to me. I've never had that discussion. But I came to the conclusions that I came to myself. Santa is not real.
Makes sense.
Hopefully, we didn't just ruin anyone's Christmas.
I know we covered our 100+ age audience, but we didn't even think
We
about
didn't even
our
address the elementary school kids that will be listening
yeah.
to us.
Oh, sorry, kids. Do kids believe in Santa even these days? Do parents still teach their kids that?
I don't know, man. I don't
I
have a
don't
kid.
know. Yeah, are
I
you
don't know.
gonna
I don't know what the
teach your kid
protocol
about
is.
Santa?
Yeah, I don't know what the protocol is. I'm gonna read the room when the time comes around, and if my other future parent friends are still doing the Santa thing, then I will too. But like, I don't want my kid to, or maybe I do want my kid to show up and be the only one who knows about Santa. And he becomes like, he's standing on top of the slide, and he has a bunch of like second graders pooled at the bottom of the slide, and he's like, "Hear ye the tale of Santa Claus," and he's just spreading the good word of Santa to all his elementary school
True.
friends. So maybe I
At
do
that
want my
point,
kid to be Santa's sole believer.
carry on the flame then.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see if anyone sticks with this podcast for a few years. Maybe we'll find out. Will Norrin and Michael teach their kids about Santa? Who knows?
It'll,
Stick around and you'll find out.
it'll be like a clickbait YouTube title. Okay, what do you think? One more question?
Yeah, let's hit one more.
Okay, Michael, I'm going to let you choose this one. Choose just
Okay,
a really solid one.
let's go with 17.
17. If you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Like,
You could do anything for a day. There are no parameters
do
on this question.
anything.
Yeah,
So
this is as
beyond the limits of regular humanity, even.
I'm going to say yes, because it said
Yes.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anything.
it did not pose a limit in the question.
Okay. Man, that does leave it very open-ended. Um, man, I think it would be so cool to explore the universe because I mean we found some pretty cool planets and stuff, but like I mean we can only go so far. So I would probably just like jump ship from planet to planet just to see like all that they have. You know, maybe I'll find some aliens, maybe I'll find some cool alien trees or something.
Maybe
But
you'll
I would
find
just kind of
Santa.
see, yeah, maybe I'll find Santa. I would just love to see like everything this universe has to offer. Kind of like if you've ever played Minecraft and you just like open up world after world just to see what will spawn, see what you'll get. Just kind of like that. I would love to just check out the world.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
And I'd do it with Norrin. I'd bring Norrin with me because didn't say you can't bring friends.
Didn't say you
So
can't bring a friend. You could do
exactly.
anything for a day.
And I mean, you could even pose the question if I'm traveling throughout the universe, does the day really end?
That's
I
true,
mean,
because you're hitting a
that's,
new sun every time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the episode of Phineas and Ferb where they like traveled
Yeah.
around the world
Yeah.
to make it last like one whole day without the sun setting. So
Yeah.
imagine doing that on a globe, on a universal
A
scale,
galactic scale. Yeah.
galactic scale.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
awesome.
would be me.
That's great. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. Mine is a similar sort of reality warping dream. But it's almost the opposite, where yours is like science fiction. I want to go full on fantasy. I would like to be transported to a realm where I can live out a fantasy adventure and like save a small village from a dragon or something like that, and like cast magic. Like for a day, I would just like to be totally engrossed in a fantasy universe.
Oh, that'd be fun. And you'd bring me with
Well, of
Right?
course,
Because then we get the best of both.
every adventure needs an adventuring party. So of course I would take you, my friend. You and I would be
True.
a dynamic duo in in the ancient times, and
That's a good question.
we would
Good
teach.
answers.
Yeah, no, that was a good one to end on. That was a really solid final question there. Um, well, those were fun. That was way more fun than any time I've had to do stuff like that at a job or in a class. Uh, so I think people just need to learn about.
True.
People just need to learn from our experience here moving forward. Well, okay. I think it is time. It is about time. It's been roughly an hour. My pretzel dough is almost done rising. Um, so I need to go bake pretzels. We, at some point, we should workshop a good sign off to end the show on. Um,
That would be good.
so we'll workshop that. Um, but for now, this has been Goodland. Thank you for visiting with us, the land where everything is good. I have been Norrin Shearer,
And I have been Michael Bandhauer.
and we will see you next time. Here's a sign off. We'll end on this note. Everyone, go eat some pretzels.
Yeah, go get some pretzels. Bake them if you can.
Bake a pretzel, everybody. Thanks for listening to Goodland. Goodbye.